Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We are so excited. Welcome, welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I am Shanika Thomas, Wake County Board of Commissioners Chair, and today we are excited to announce that we have acquired a conservation easement for Bailey Farm here in Wendell. This is actually the second conservation easement under Wake County's new farmland preservation program. The second of many to come, I hope, actually. Because of this easement, these nearly 125 acres of fertile farmland and gorgeous forest will forever be protected from new development. This agreement ensures that fields that are producing sweet potatoes here today will be used to nourish Wake County for generations to come. It also ensures that the woods that provide shelter to the native wildlife now will ring with bird songs way after everyone's forgotten what we're talking about here today. This agreement is a milestone for more than just Wake County also. By investing over $1 million of deferred agricultural tax funds, this agreement represents the largest single county dedication of farmland preservation funds in the whole state of North Carolina. It's also one of the largest in the whole nation. And while we're incredibly proud to be recognized as leaders in this industry and technology, we know that we have to be just as proactive in conservation if we want to create sustainable growth. I would like to acknowledge the people who put their hard work into creating this new conservation easement. First off, thank you to the Bailey family. James and Matthew, this is an immense gift that you're giving future generations. Your foresight and generosity are greatly appreciated by this entire community. Thank you to our partners at the Triangle Land Conservancy. That team is constantly working to protect our precious lands, and their collaboration is crucial to our farmland preservation program. You'll be hearing from them shortly, but I'd love to recognize Wake County Soil and Water Conservation District team, our director, Teresa Furr, and our farmland preservation coordinators. You all are not wasting any time in getting land protected, and we appreciate it. I'd also like to recognize my fellow commissioners who champion this work so fiercely. Commissioner Mile is standing here with me, and you'll hear from him in just a second. And I saw Commissioner Stallings is here as well. Thank you so much. So next up, I'd like to welcome District 1 Commissioner Don Mile to say a few words, and after him, we'll hear from Teresa Furr.
Good morning. And thank you so much, Chair Thomas. And thank you again to the team whose hard work brought us here today. Farming in Wake County, some of you may not know about. I was born and raised on a farm about 15 minutes up the road. I remember when my family upgraded from a mule to a tractor. And I know a lot of y'all probably going, wow, that's a little bit of days ago. But, you know, it's understandable that, you know, because I've seen a lot over the years, and it changed in Wake County. And one of the biggest things that you and I have seen over the years is that there are fewer and fewer fields and more development. In fact, in the last decade, Wake County has lost more than 20% of its farmland. That means we've got no time to waste in protecting the land that feeds our people. When I joined the board in 2022, one of the first things I started hearing about was our new farmland preservation program. The Voluntary Agricultural District and the Enhanced Voluntary Agricultural District program help our farmers save money while encouraging best management practices. Those programs also smooth the way between active farms and our neighbors. The new agricultural conservation easement program also caught my eye as very innovative. We know that pressures to sell are very real for landowners, especially since farming isn't always profitable. But this program is an amazing win-win for everyone in the community. Not only do landowners qualify for several tax incentives, but the protection stays with the deed forever. Yes, I said forever. Try as we might, there just aren't many things we get to do as leaders with that kind of staying power. If you ask me, that makes this agreement a deal of a lifetime. But I'm not only one who thinks so. In the last year, I've been fortunate enough to travel the county with our Soil and Water Conservation District folks. And Teresa, it was always a pleasure when we was out traveling around the county, listening to farmers and landowners. So when we talk about farmland preservation program, it's clear. And as you can tell with the outpouring that we have here today, that is very excited for everyone in the community, especially our farmers. They are dealing with a lot, but they're glad to know that they got partners who see the big picture and value of their work. And speaking of important work, I'd like to invite our Soil and Water Conservation District Supervisor, Teresa Furr, to tell you more about this great program. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Don. For those that don't know me, and those that do, you probably know how passionate I am about soil and water conservation, one, but farmland preservation as well. As a conservationist and now district director for Wake Soil and Water, I've been around in the county for around 17 years now, working with family farms and helping them conserve the natural resources on their farm. And there's not too many occasions in your career that you get to witness things actually come full circle. But as I stand before you this morning, I can say that that happened to me today. I started as a conservationist with Wake County on July 7th, 2007. And on August 17th, 2007, I got to meet, very privileged to meet Mr. Cedric Todd, the previous owner right here on this farm, to evaluate the soil erosion issues he was having on his crop fields and develop a plan to try to address that. So this was the very first farm and project that I worked on as a rookie conservationist. Over that next few months, 4 months or so, I worked with Mr. Todd. We installed many grass waterways on this farm, diversions, critical area plantings, all to protect the water quality, reduce soil erosion of Buffalo Creek that's just back there. While working with him, I learned a lot about hard work that day and the days after. And if y'all knew him, I think some of the families here, and those knew him, they know what I'm talking about. And that late summer heat, every single day he was out here on his tractor in that pan, working on getting these conservation practices put in correctly. He didn't take many breaks at all until he saw me struggling trying to keep up with him. And then he would head back to the house here, right here, that white house behind you, and he would bring some cold water that he kept in those 2-liter bottles and brought them down to me so we could just keep going and get the work done. I found out later, toward the end of that project, that he told me at the time he was 88 years old at that time. And he didn't tell me in the beginning, but at the end, he also told me he was an avid marathon runner. And so I knew I was in trouble at that point. But it was clear during our time together, Mr. Todd, that he loved this farm and he loved this land. He took so much pride in protecting the natural resources on this farm, and he wanted all the others to enjoy it as well. To my surprise, as I was kind of getting my thoughts together to what I was going to say today, I was looking through this contract folder that I had with him, and as a conservationist, as a new conservationist, I wrote down everything I did, everything I said, everything I did to try to help him. And to my surprise, I found a note that I had wrote in this folder, that I kept in this folder. On August 31st, 2007, I wrote that I had dropped off farmland preservation information to Mr. Todd at that time for him to review. I had no idea I did it. I don't remember it until I read it just a few days ago. I had no idea that over 16 years later that we are today, that I would be standing here with you all celebrating the protection of this beautiful family farm. I'm so grateful for the Baileys for honoring Mr. Todd's wishes and protecting this. I'm so thankful for our commissioners and those deferred taxes that they were talking about, because if you're not familiar with them, those deferred taxes is actually land that's been taken out of agriculture, forestry, or horticulture production. And so to reinvest that money into protection of that is so very important in a county that's growing as rapidly as Wake County is as well. I'm so thankful for our Wake County Attorney's Office, our Budget Office, our Finance Office. This was a true Team Wake effort to make this happen. A lot of work went into this and processing and getting everything done correctly, tight deadlines, and making sure that it could go through and approval from our commissioners. And I'm just, want to thank all of you in the community for supporting our office. We have an elected supervisor here today, Beth Pugh Farrell, here is our elected soil and water supervisor, and thank her and all of our supervisors on our board for all of their support as well. So I don't think I missed anybody, and I'm going to turn it over now to Mrs. Sandy Schweitzer, the Executive Director for Triangle Land Conservancy, to also say a few remarks.
Thank you all so much. Good morning. I am Sandy Schweitzer, Executive Director of Triangle Land Conservancy. And I love these events because there is just so much gratitude and really a recognition of the incredible collaboration that it takes across organizations, within our organizations. And I'm really glad that Teresa talked also about how long it takes. It is not unusual for us to work with someone who first contacts us, and then 10 years later, they're finally ready to take action. So I really appreciate y'all recognizing that. So we're a nonprofit land trust that has been working for 40 years to protect farms, forests, wetlands, and open space in the 6 counties of the Triangle region, including Wake. This year is TLC's 40th anniversary. And in those 40 years, we've helped protect almost 25,000 acres across the Triangle. Most people know about TLC through our public nature preserves like Williamson Preserve, which is just down the road with about 14 miles of walking and mountain biking trails. But farms provide important conservation benefits that have already been talked about and are really crucial to our work. Thanks to hundreds of private landowners, we have conserved over 5,000 acres in farmland across the Triangle in perpetuity through conservation easements like this one. Thanks to everyone else who's spoken. I'm going to skip about half my comments. But conservation easements are really the best tool we have for ensuring that family farms like this one can continue to sustain local food systems by growing zucchini, squash, sweet potatoes instead of just houses. We need them both. I want to thank a few people, specifically, starting with my staff, Leanne Hammelbacher and Brenna Thompson. Leanne has been working with the county for many years to get this farmland preservation program in place. And as has been stated earlier, it is an innovative program that counties across the state are looking at implementing. And so this is really on the cutting edge. And Leanne has been talking about this for many, many, many years. And so really grateful that we were able to do it. Brenna has managed TLC's due diligence on this project and has worked tirelessly to protect this farm. Both of them work very hard for all of us who live and work and enjoy the benefits of the natural environment in Wake and Johnson County in particular. As I said earlier, our work isn't possible without close collaboration with our partners. And I want to start with the town of Wendell and Dean's Eatman, who actually introduced Triangle Land Conservancy to the Bailey Farm. I want to recognize all the town commissioners. There are quite a few here. Could you all raise your hands? And thank you. And the mayor, Jenna Gregg, is here also. So thank you all so much for your support and partnership in this. I also want to thank Wake County for their funding for this project and for their long-term partnership to protect open space and farmland all throughout the county. Together with Wake County, we have conserved over 2,500 acres in this area. I want to recognize the Wake County commissioners who have spoken, and there we are. Cheryl's over there. And I just want to mention also that we've just had a lot of support from county commissioners for many years. This is the first conservation easement project to close using this funding, and it was recorded exactly a month ago on December 12th. And although the Baileys might not think that it moved fast, for us, this project moved really quickly, and that was thanks to the Wake County funding. When we get money for conservation easements from the state and the federal government, there's just a lot more bureaucracy that everyone has to go through. Deadlines are different and longer, and it can take 2 to 5 years to close an easement like this. So we are really grateful. Really grateful to Teresa and the Wake Soil and Water, she's back there now, to get this program up and running and partnering with us to make it happen. And finally, I want to give special thanks to Jim, Karen, and Matt Bailey for deciding to preserve this land for future generations. Without their family's commitment and the commitment of private landowners, protecting our farmland wouldn't be possible. This is a true legacy for the entire community. Thank you for your commitment. Would you like to say a few words, Mr. Bailey? Great. All right. Thank you.
I promise not to sing. Y'all wouldn't like that. But I feel like singing because this is a real celebration for us. And when I say we inherited the farm from Uncle Cedric, my son and I, it's all of the Todd family. All of us nephews and nieces always tried to be there for Uncle Cedric. So really, this is honoring him for our whole family, not just us. And I want to be sure you understand that. That basket over there on the table was actually given to Cedric by Glenn Francis Edens, one of my cousins. She painted that for him. And some of the pictures you see show a lot of the cattle that he worked with. I remember when he got sick and had to sell his dairy cattle that we had to have an auction. And I believe it was Uncle Fernie, Rich's father, that actually led that auction to sell those Wisconsin black and white milk cows. And then later he went to beef cows. I got to tell you this story, though. When he got to the beef cows, even though he didn't have to get up 3 o'clock in the morning to milk the beef cows, of course, to look after them, he would call me sometimes because he was working on his Bible study. And he would say, "Jim, how do you spell this word? This is 3 o'clock in the morning now." And I often think about that, but I think he thought if he was up at 3, we all were up at 3. That's just the way it was. But he was a wonderful uncle, hard worker, very strong in his faith. I've got to tell you this, for over 40 years, he actually did devotionals at Guardian Care, I think, on Thursday nights, every Thursday night, and then Oliver House at that time on Friday nights. Very committed. I actually have one of his Bibles that's put together with bolts. I think he might have used it when he was on the tractor. I'm not sure. But hardest working man I've ever seen. I remember helping him out here on that shelter out there when he was 90 years old. But all of us helped him. All of us helped him. Many of the nephews, like Richard Todd right here today, and Dial Ramsey and Herbie Ramsey and others, Warren Ramsey, helped him more than I did. But we all did our part because we loved him. And we really wanted to honor him. But not only honor him, we wanted to do what's best for this farm. We wanted to see that wildlife is protected, plant life protected, forestry protected, soil protected, all of that. And so I really do appreciate also the Parkers who farm this land for us and help us to keep it right. And I'm looking forward to how the county, Teresa and her staff, are going to help us, and also TLC is going to help us to be sure we do the right thing, that this farm will always be a very good farm. Matt, neither one of us are farmers, so we're going to need all the help we can get. And I can tell you right now that one person I depend on all the time is Richard Todd. Richard has helped me so much over the years. I don't even call him a cousin. He's really a brother. He's really more like a brother to me. And I can't say how much I appreciate how he helps me, and Kim too. And so I just want to be sure everybody knows that this is a family thing. It's not just me and Matt, it's all of us wanting to honor him. But I do appreciate so much the county commissioners and all those who have made this possible. It really didn't seem like that was too long to me. It went pretty fast. But thanks to Brenna and thanks to Melissa and thanks to Leanne and Emily with the county, we've been able to do a lot, and we're continuing to do a lot. I just appreciate all the help, and I appreciate your continued prayers as we seek to continue to look after what God has given us to look after. This great creation that he's given us. You know, if you go to, I'm not going to preach, but when you go to Psalms 8, it says we have dominion. We're supposed to be good stewards. And the last thing I would say is I'm thankful for the neighbors here. I wouldn't do anything without consulting them because we're all in this together. This is a community thing. As a matter of fact, one of my neighbors, his grandfather used to own this land before Cedric. And so when you think about it, we're all connected. And it's very important that what we do is right for everybody. So we are a community out here with Graham Dean and Curtis Phillips and all of us. And so I'm just thankful for my neighbors. I don't know if and also thankful for Les Ramsey. Les is, he hunts out here. He's the only one I allow to hunt out here. But Les takes seriously his hunting. He cares about looking in on the deer all of the year, not just during hunting season. He knows how many families of deer we have out here. And unless the coyotes get out here and upset everything, they're usually pretty standard. You know, they're right there. So we're thankful for all the wildlife we have. And I know I'm rambling on and on, but it's just, I just thank everybody for being a part of this. The county, TLC, the commissioners, everyone who's made this possible. And I just hope and pray that we'll continue to be able to keep this farm a good farm, a healthy farm, and look after all that's here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bailey. So to that end, you mentioned community, you talked about neighbors and cousins and all of the people who've been a part. So one, I want to say thank you everyone for celebrating with us. Thank you so much for your support and your partnership. And I know Patrick is going to be like, what is she doing? But can I get all of the neighbors to come to this side so we can get a group picture? I would love a group picture. So come on this way.
We got one more announcement, if y'all will, before everybody disperses. This is kind of a surprise, so nobody knew about this. But I'd like to welcome, we've got another one of our elected supervisors here today, Scott Lassiter. Thank you for being here, too. He's here. I would like to welcome Beth Pugh Farrell, our elected supervisor, up to say a few words and to make this special announcement.
Thank you, Teresa. And what a glorious day that on my way here, the song Buy Dirt came on the radio. And if you've not heard that song, it talks about a farmer who resists selling out for development. And today we get to see an opportunity for this land to remain open farmland, not just for today, not just for next year, but forever. And if you want to see resiliency in action, just look across this landscape. Hard times, natural disasters, low prices, this land has seen everything. And what an honor and a tribute to this family to make sure that the legacy continues here. And it is my honor to present you with the Patrick H. Johnson Farmland Preservation Award today. This is the second annual Wake County Soil and Water Conservation District Farmland Preservation Award, now known as the Patrick H. Johnson Farmland Preservation Award. And we're honored to present it today to the Bailey family for their steadfast commitment to farmland preservation. Bailey Farms is managed by Jim Bailey and his son Matthew Bailey. Jim and Matthew took over the farm from Jim's uncle Cedric Todd, who owned the farm for over 60 years. Under Mr. Todd's management, the farm transitioned from a dairy to a row crop operation. And I'm a farm girl too, that I grew up on a dairy, and I understood exactly what you said about when it transitioned over to beef cattle and how you still got up early and still got things done. Mr. Todd's wish was for his farm that it would remain in agriculture and never be converted to a housing development, a request that the Baileys took to heart. The Bailey family began working with the Triangle Land Conservancy in 2022 to secure funding for a permanent conservation easement on this farm. Over the next year, TLC secured funding approval from the Wake County Agricultural Advisory Board and Wake County Commissioners, officially closing on this 125-acre agricultural conservation easement in December of last year. This agricultural easement advances the goal of supporting local farms and food and preserves a family farm in one of the fastest growing counties in North Carolina. Around 75% of the soil on this property consists of prime farmland or farmland of statewide importance. The establishment of the easement here will preserve the opportunity for agriculture in an area under enormous development pressure. I think we all probably saw the permanent crop on our way in. The easement additionally protects precious wildlife habitat and over 9,000 feet of perennial and intermittent stream, as well as 2 large ponds that provide safe drinking water for now and for future generations. This project would not have been possible without the willingness of the Bailey family and the support of the Wake County Farmland Preservation Program. 40% of the funding for this conservation easement came from the Wake County Deferred Agricultural, Horticultural, and Forest Lands Tax Program, and the remaining 60% came from the Bailey family in the form of an in-kind donation. The total value of the conservation easement on this farm that we're standing on today is $2.5 million. The Board of Supervisors recognizes the Bailey family for their unwavering commitment to farmland preservation, and it is an absolute honor to present them with the 2023 Wake Soil and Water Conservation District's Patrick H. Johnson Farmland Preservation Award.